I've been running my small art business, Fructus Illustrations, for the past 2 years. And while I would still consider myself to be in the early stages of this journey, I've learned some lessons about how to create a promising and successful business using social media. Hi everyone, I'm Jen, and here in my art studio, I wear all kinds of hats in order to run my small business. I am the artist, graphic designer, customer service specialist, the manager, inventory and product organizer. The list goes on. But today, as I prepare for my first shop update of the year, I want to highlight how my roles as a content creator and marketing strategist has helped me send out close to 2,000 orders and gained me over 75,000 total followers across various platforms. From the start of my journey and at the start of my business, I've always put a big emphasis on establishing and building a social media presence because I believe that the internet is a very vast and versatile tool that can show your art to a much larger audience so that you can connect with them and also begin to build your brand identity while establishing customer loyalty and support. Throughout these past couple of years, I've actually narrowed down 3 important areas in my social media marketing that I believe has really helped to grow my business, and I'd like to share them with you today. Also, as a very quick disclaimer, everything that I say, it is all based on my own experience. I am not an expert by any means, but my hope is that by sharing my insight, it could help you navigate what you're going through and through your own path. Back in October 2021, before I even opened my shop, I started my Instagram account and began with just posting pictures of my art. Nothing fancy, nothing too much, and I ended up challenging myself to post art regularly, at least 5 times a week for that entire first year. I did this primarily for 2 reasons. The first and main reason was to improve my art skills because it's been a while since I had done art, and I wanted to develop my art style because, after all, my art would be the basis of my business, and I felt that in this way I could keep myself accountable. The second reason was because I wanted to reach more people and showcase my art to those people that could later become my customers and supporters. For that entire first year, Instagram was basically my only focus because creating new art every day was already challenging enough, and I didn't want to take on too much too soon. However, as things started to get a little bit more easier for me and I started to get into the routine, I began to also direct some of my attention about midway through that year, and I started posting short content to TikTok. And just last year, I finally started my YouTube channel and began making long-form videos like this one. I think it is important to narrow down your focus and attention to maybe 1 or 2 platforms when you're first starting out, because figuring out how different platforms work and figuring out what kind of content performs better is a lot and is challenging. Also, not to mention, it's discouraging when you don't really meet your expectations. So instead, I recommend picking, 1 or 2 to get started so that you can figure out what kind of content you like to make without overwhelming yourself. And I want to put emphasis on figuring out what you like because running a small business is a lot of work. And I think the key to longevity and consistency, especially when you already have so much to do and so much that you're responsible for, that finding ways to make the work enjoyable will get you more consistent and keep you going. I also highly recommend starting a newsletter as soon as possible. I started my newsletter about 1.5 years ago now, and it is one of the best ways that I found to reach people as there is no distractions to beat or algorithms to maneuver. It's really a beautiful thing, and at the start of this month, I opened up pre-orders for my newest edition of my coloring book series, and on the day that I launched the pre-orders, I also sent out an announcement in my newsletter that went up before I even posted anything else to social media. And as a result, the majority of the pre-orders that I received came from the newsletter alone. But if you're anything like me at the beginning, starting a newsletter might seem daunting or a lot to take on, since it is something that you will be building from scratch. But to help you get started, I'd like to recommend this learning path called Start from Zero to Build a Winning Email Marketing Strategy on Skillshare. If you don't already know, Skillshare is an online learning community filled with thousands of online classes and members. And when I personally was researching how to get my own newsletter going, this learning path had the answers and information that I was looking for. I was able to get a better understanding of the importance of email marketing, and I left that class with a sense of confidence to get my newsletter started. So, if you want to get started on building your own newsletter, or if you want to expand your current skill set, I definitely recommend checking out Skillshare today, as they are currently offering a 30-day free trial when you use the link in my description. And because I want you to make the most of your trial, I have also put together a list of classes and learning paths that I think would be very beneficial to you if you're on a similar journey. Okay, so figuring out where I wanted to post was a quick and easy decision, but now, what do I actually post? I think that no matter what kind of content, whether it be pictures, videos, whether it be long form or short, the goal that I personally aim for is to create high quality content. For me, that means that whatever I post tells part of my story, or it explains and showcases part of my process. So, in other words, it provides value or entertainment. So, for example, this month I've been working on my latest shop update, which, by the way, is now live with new stickers, prints, wooden coasters, and my first t-shirt. So, if any of that interests you, feel free to check it out all on my shop. For the shop update, I've planned out several different posts, some that will go before the actual launch date, a couple for the day of, and majority of the ones that I've planned are actually for the weeks afterwards. For the posts that go before, I like to make content that previews the new products. The main new product for this launch is the spring coloring book that I've been working on for the past couple of months, and with the launch of every book, I like to open the pre-orders. So, to promote that, I made a few short videos where I did the final line work with a voiceover in which I talked about the inspiration for each particular page. I found this to be a really good way to tell a part of my story because it engages my audience and it also showcases part of my process. I find that this type of content often can either help people relate to me and my story and my experience, or if they're interested in my process and I'll ask a question about something that I'm using. So something like this provides both value and entertainment. But not everything that I post will have both, and not everything needs to be long or detailed. Another post that I made to preview my shop update is another short video that I titled Sounds of My Art Studio Shop Update Prep Edition. In this post, I put together short clips of different parts of the shop update process, and this is more of an ASMR type video, and the sole purpose of it is to entertain. It's just interesting to see what I've made, and it's fun to hear the various sounds that come with it. For posts of the day of, it's really just quick, simple announcements saying that everything is now live and to go check out my website where the new products are. For the content that comes after my shop update launch, it's usually just showing the different products that I made again, but in a more interesting way. It's usually me using them. So for example, like my coloring book, I will make a couple of videos of some of the pages that I colored in. Or for my stickers, I might put them on like a water bottle or put them somewhere or hang up prints on my wall. It's really just showcasing, again, the process, but I reserve a majority of these types of videos after shop launch because I want people to be able to see the new products and go purchase them if they want to, without having to wait or figure out when the launch is coming. I'd also like to add that when it comes to creating content, it does not need to be overly complicated. I've actually recorded almost everything with just my iPhone since the very start. Even my YouTube videos I've done with just my phone, and I've used basic editing software like iMovie and Canva. I've actually made a whole video previously talking about my process for creating videos, so if you like an in-depth explanation, I recommend you checking out that video, and I'll leave that link in the description for you to find. It's only after that I've established a routine that I've invested in more equipment to improve my system, but you definitely do not need anything special or expensive to make interesting and high-quality content. What it really boils down to is your story and sharing it with others, because it all starts with you, and people are more willing to support and follow you when they better understand you and your purpose. So, planning out and creating the content is probably where you'll spend most of your time on, but I think it is very important to remember to interact and engage with your audience regularly. It's become harder for me personally to always be available to reply and answer every comment or message, but I know it is important. I know that there is another person on the other side who is simply asking a question for clarification, or they're just trying to make a connection. So I'm always reminding myself of that. Being a shy, introverted person does make it a little bit more challenging, which may be funny to imagine since I've gotten used to talking in my videos and I'm putting myself out here. But sometimes I do get a little anxious about having conversations online. There isn't something that I can pinpoint exactly why, but I recognize the importance of building relationships and a community, so it is something that I prioritize and am working to improve. One question that I've gotten often is, do I need a social media presence to run my business? I understand that for some, being on social media is not something that they really want to be involved in, and it's usually for a number of valid reasons. For some, it can negatively impact your creativity because it can distract you from your creative process when there is a sense of constantly curating content for social media. You might have privacy concerns and you don't want to share details about your life or your process. Or you might feel discouraged by the control that social media algorithms have on the visibility of your content, which makes it harder to actually reach an audience. However, despite it all, for me, I believe that there are so many pros to building and nurturing a community surrounding your business, and I do believe it is a very powerful and resourceful tool that we can still try to benefit from. Through my content, I've been able to reach so many people that have resonated and related to some aspect of my story and experience, and who have appreciated the insights that I share from the lessons that I've learned all along the way. Social media can be intimidating and confusing, but I would suggest not putting too much attention on things like hashtags or figuring out what the perfect time would be to post. I think that when it comes to using social media to promote and market your art and small business, it's really about posting content that tells your story regularly and interacting with those that are interested in you and your work. So, if you've been wondering whether to start making content or planning to expand to another platform, I urge you to give it a try. You will never know how things will work out, and if you are feeling a bit apprehensive, I promise you that over time it will get easier. So, thank you so much for stopping by and for joining me in today's video. As small business owners, we often are required to wear different hats and acquire various skills, so I hope that I've been able to help you. Also, I'd like to remind you to check out Skillshare and the classes that I recommend if you're on a similar journey. And as for the rest of you who have supported and followed me at any point during this journey, thank you for everything that you do. It always means so much to me to have you be a part of this cozy little space that we've made here. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a week ahead of you. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!